All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our November working group meeting. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be with us. I know it's always hard the day after we have a day off, especially when it kind of happens in the middle of the week to get back into the groove of things. But with the holiday at the end of the month and then starting up the holiday season, really, we wanted to make sure we could pick a good time where folks would still be in office and we could still collaborate together. So for today, we're gonna go over alt text, kind of what it is and best practices. Then we'll go over some common questions that we've received and open it up for broader discussion. I know we've had some presentations for you guys the last couple of meetings, so we wanted to give you a chance to have time to come to us with any questions you wanted to discuss with the group, or just, anything you generally wanted to say. And also go over some common questions that we get just for that are new to our group, that may have not been here for first. We had a really good discussion around things. Um, Also, before I begin on alt text, there is one housekeeping item for our group. We are planning on introducing Civic Roundtable for this working group to be using soon. It's communications and collaborations platform built specifically for government teams, and it has a secure group spaces, integrated messaging and discussions, and some knowledge management features. It will bring together cross-agencies team and dedicated channels, and it ensures that everyone stays in the loop with announcements and notifications. There is also a unified search and document library that can help us find the right policy or resource really quickly, rather than having to dig through desperate systems. Because it integrates with existing tools that we have, like email, Zoom, and websites, it can help streamline our communication with each other. And we're going to have more information about Civic Roundtable next month. Before that, some of you may get an invitation to help join us and get the group space set up. So if you get something in your email from Civic Roundtable, it's not spam. Um, and just let us know if you have any questions. And we've demoed it with the Civic Roundtable team. It's really cool. All right, let's kicked off. A lot of you probably already know what alt text is, but I wouldn't be a very good moderator if I just kind of jumped right in. So alt text, it's a hidden HTML attribute that's added to an image tag. It provides a textual description of an image for users who cannot see it. Um, Primarily screen readers. Um, of course, we know those are used by people who are blind or have low vision, or use a screen reader to read the text out loud. And alt text is the primary way to provide an equivalent experience and access to visual information. So some of the do's of alt text, concise, descriptive, preferably aim for under 125 characters. So that way the screen reader is not spending a really long time describing the image and the person may forget exactly what they were on the page for or what they heard about before they got to that alt description. You want to make sure you convey across the purpose and the context. What exactly does the image add to the page? What information are you trying to provide with it? Um, Describe the action for functional images. So like if it would be something related to submit your application, you could do that. And that's um, functional images, those are related to buttons. For GovHub websites, we kind of take care of those functional images for you, but I know we have a few non-platform sites on here, so that would be good. That would be a good example of what a functional image would be, like a call to action button. Also, when using alt text in with a period, this creates a natural pause for screen readers, so it's not just like a huge run-on sentence as it goes into the context of the page. All right. So a couple of don'ts. You don't need to start with image of or picture of. The screen reader already announces that it's an image. That's how the tag starts out is image. Try not to be vague. For example, just dog or person. Um, a better example, like if you had a photo of a dog, one of my examples does have a photo of a dog, but instead of dog, you could say a brown dog catches a red frisbee. It's more descriptive. Um, Try to avoid repeating information that's already in the surrounding text or on the caption. Um, that way, if someone's using a screen reader, they don't hear the same information twice. Also, don't use the image file name as alt text. Some folks are more descriptive with their image names, but sometimes they upload to the library and it's just image 4056.jpg or something like that. So that definitely won't tell you what's on the page. I do have a couple of examples. So this would be like a contextual image. Not so good alt text would just be meeting or image. You can see here the good alt text. It's more descriptive and gives context to what's happening in the photo. For an informational message, of course, bad alt text, I kind of went over that before with the dog and the file name. But you could have good. The first one is accurate, but it's a little bit basic. It doesn't get into too much detail. The second one does give more detail and gives a little bit of a mood since you're describing the scenery. Action, the bad alt text, it's just too vague. The good alt text, the first one, it's accurate, but you are missing some key information there. Um, for the second example of good alt text, you have the specific action and the context of the picture. We also have with alt text decorative images. So a decorative image, it's one that provides no informational value. It's stylistic. It could be like a border, some sort of divider. Um, Also, when I was researching, it said, and we discussed this in our internal sync last week, like a stock photo that kind of adds a vibe to the page, but no specific content. Um, but even as a stock photo, it's good to kind of give that context to folks of what's happening in the photo. We also have complex images. Um, those are like charts and graphs. It's good to give a brief summary of the main point or trend with these. I have an example there. It kind of gives it goes over what the data shows. Um, Sorry, I was looking at my notes, but they suggest too that the full detailed description of the data must be provided in the main body of text or an accessible table that's nearby. That way, uh, folks can clearly understand that. And I do want to go back to decorative images for just 1 second. I apologize that I skipped over this. So if you're on GovHub, we know that when you upload an image, the alt text is a required field that you can't skip over it. For decorative images, you're supposed to leave that field blank. I reached out to our development team on how to handle that. They haven't gotten back to me yet, but as soon as I know that, we can follow up in the next meeting, or if I know by the time I send that recap email out, I'll be sure to include that. If you're not on the GovHub platform, and you have a decorative image, you can use, like I said, a null alt attribute. It's just leaving that alt tag blank. This tells the screen reader to skip the image entirely. It's not the same as omitting the alt tag. An omitted alt tag may cause the screen reader to read the file name, and that's definitely going to cause confusion if it's something really off the wall. I have definitely named an image off something off the wall before, so you don't want to confuse your audience there. Um, I just wanted to keep this kind of short and sweet, but for your key takeaways, definitely alt text is a legal necessity. Um, we know that the DOJ final rule makes WCAG 2.1 AA and its alt text rules a clear requirement. Context is everything. The why and image there determines what you write. Remember that a blank alt attribute is a tool, it's not a mistake. We want to use it correctly for decorative images to reduce that noise. And as always, it's about the people. Good alt text ensures an equitable experience for all users. Before I ask for questions, Mary, was there anything that you wanted to add?
No, I think you covered a lot of good stuff, Erica. I think that it's just important to think about an image and the purpose and how it fits into the message that you're just trying to convey, and making that visible to someone who might have a visual impairment.
Absolutely.
That was great. Thanks, Erica.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anyone have any questions about alt text specifically?
Hi, Erika. This is Rao from
Hi.
GDCO IT. I don't have specific questions on alt text, but I do maybe have touched on this topic I'm asking. Um, we are trying to make changes as per the requirement, but we are trying to modify PDFs dynamically, if possible, to incorporate the tags, ADA tags, accessibility tags on that one. So we discovered Adobe Pro, but are there any other tools that we can use that you can recommend, or any other one in the group you're using that can, I mean, if you make recommendations, it would be helpful for us. I'm not sure if it is asking the question in the right thread, but just wanted to throw. Thank you. Thank you for any assistance.
Yes, of course. Sorry, I'm thinking about the totality of your question here.
And by the way, the civic group thread is a great idea. I've been looking for that since a long time. And I was going to suggest to GTA anyhow, but I'm glad you guys thought ahead of me. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, we're excited to try that out.
Yeah, personally, we've been using Adobe Acrobat Pro to add tags, but I'd be really interested to hear if anybody else has anything else that they've been using for document remediation.
I mean, manually you can do it, but I'm looking for modifying it
I'm
dynamically
sorry, you said dynamically.
right.
Yeah, not that I've seen yet, but we haven't had to. We've just been working with one at a time. We haven't had that many to deal with. So maybe someone else.
I don't know if I really understand what he means by modifying dynamically, but we found that if we have a PDF document that's not accessible, which none of ours are, so we're having to do all of them. We first find the source file, because most of our files originated from Word, and they just do a print to PDF. But what we're doing now is we go to the source document. If we don't have a source document, we create one in Word just by copying the PDF to Word. And because it's easier in Word to make it accessible than it is to start with a PDF with the tags messed up, when there's hidden things in the background that aren't working right. So if you just strip it down to the bare minimum in Word and just do the headers, the styles, and don't use any spaces, don't use any like carriage returns and stuff, just use spaces instead. And then save as to PDF, and then the tags are really clean in Adobe or anything else. And actually, the only thing you have left to do is reading order once you get it in Adobe. If you want to do it, I mean, if your tags are okay, then it'll work. Reading order will work okay if your tags are all, look okay. But if they don't, you can just use reading order in Adobe. That just takes a few minutes. So that's what we're finding out, that starting out with Adobe with anything that we have is just too much work. We have to put it in something else first. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miss Hyde. So, yeah, which is again a manual process, correct? So, what I mean by dynamically is Adobe Pro provides a API to call in through, say, for example, a Java program, and dynamically, if you hit the button, it will say, it will change, provide ADA tags, accessibility tags to all PDFs that you feed in instantly. So, yeah,
In
you could
Adobe,
be done.
I get what you're saying. Like if you just go into Adobe, you can create tags just straight from Adobe. But if your base file doesn't have the right kind of tags and it just comes over with all this junk, then you're just going to be doing a whole bunch of work in Adobe, whether you have an automated tool or not,
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Selena, you can go next. I see your hand up.
Hey, I have a quick question about the photos. Here at GDC, we have our offender search, and it has a photo of the offender when you search for that offender. Right underneath the photo is a physical description of the offender. So I understand that we wouldn't want to say photo of inmate. I mean, how would we handle all those photos? Because we're going to have to systematically apply that across, because there are tons of photos out there. Because we are describing the photo right underneath it. So the screen reader sees the photo and then it says physical description, year of birth, race, gender, height, weight, eye color.
Selena, is it possible to just use the offender's name?
Well, it's right
Or-
above the picture.
So it's
So
going to
it's-
be duplicating it?
Yeah, it says, name, GDC ID, photo there, and then the physical description, and it goes on with scars, marks, tattoos, incarceration details, but we're just not sure how to handle that photo.
If you should be like describing all of their physical attributes to explain, I get it. I mean,
Originally, I thought we could mark them decorative, but that didn't seem like that was a good solution. But I wouldn't want to repeat the information twice either. So we're not sure how to handle those.
yeah. Which website is this for?
The offender search off the GDC website.
And if time permits, we can quickly show to everyone on this side. I mean, in this call, or we can have a separate call.
Okay.
Would you like for me to share my screen real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got
Let me find it. Hold on. I'm just going to search for Jones. Hold on. Let me get back over here and see if I can figure out how to share my screen on Zoom.
And if not, if you want to send me the link, I don't mind to share.
It's
Yeah, I can share. I can
Okay.
share.
Good. I'm still trying to figure it out here. Thank you,
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah, so we are talking about like this image. So we already have, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so we already have the offender's ID, um, description, physical description, year of birth, female, and all those things. And the name should be here. Okay, the name. So if we put again name here, what Selena is saying is it could be redundant. So we are looking for guidance from you on how to name that image. Maybe we can say offender image is like common name for all of them, or we can put the name. It's like again, we can say that image of Brian Aaron here. I think that should work.
You could do that. I mean, especially since you have the name and then the ID, so it wouldn't be the offender's name back to back. But that's definitely something we can put a pin in and do a little research on and get back to you all to see if there may be something better that you could use as an alt tag.
I think for the sake of content maintenance, to make it easier for y'all to have one guideline in place, if you agree on having something like photo of offender as the alt text, and just using that across the board for every image that's there. I don't know, Erica, like for something with this many photos, I think it's almost the same purpose as decorative image.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And without getting into like a physical description of how the person looks, I think just photo of offender is probably.
Sure.
I agree.
That's what I said, because then you can search and replace everything, and it quickly goes and makes it an easy job.
Right. Okay, we'll do that. Selena, is that good?
That's good. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it.